If you've watched a number of my video blogs, you probably have gathered that there are times that I will talk right to the unfaithful, and the betrayed can kind of listen in. And then there's days where I'll speak right to the betrayed, yet the unfaithful has a chance to hear what's going on in the life and in the heart of the betrayed. Today I want to stay with that approach and talk to you, the unfaithful, about something that you're going to have to work through if you want to see healing, while also giving the betrayed a chance to hear how this plays out in the mind and the heart of the unfaithful spouse. Now, I'll be honest with you, this video is going to be somewhat counterintuitive, and there's probably going to be an opportunity for you, the betrayed, to take this and maybe feel upset or offended, and I hope and pray that you don't have that reaction. Because you see, the unfaithful spouses don't comment much on my videos. They kind of lay in hiding, and I understand that. No one wants to put into writing, I'm an unfaithful spouse. Nobody wants to type out on a YouTube video or a Twitter account or Instagram or whatever platform, yeah, I'm an unfaithful spouse, and it's very hard to do that for a variety of reasons. But I do know that there is a sea of unfaithful spouses who watch, who chime in, who are trying to heal. And so today I want to help you, unfaithful spouse, understand that this has got to be a component to your recovery. We talk a lot here about forgiveness, and typically we focus on the forgiveness that the betrayed spouse has to eventually extend to the unfaithful. But today I want to help you, unfaithful, understand that you too have to forgive your spouse. Now, I know that that can be a bit of a controversial statement because it somehow alludes to the fact that maybe the dysfunction or weaknesses or failures in the life of the betrayed would then be used to justify the affair of the unfaithful, and nothing could be further from the truth. However, if the unfaithful is going to heal, if you, the unfaithful spouse, are going to find healing and diffuse anger and diffuse bitterness and diffuse some of the justifications that you have built up in your life, you're going to have to find forgiveness for your spouse. If you don't, you're going to hold on to your resentment and your bitterness and your anger, and it's going to make it harder for you to endure the consequences of your choices. It's going to be harder for you to endure the anger, the rage, the struggles, the difficulties that the betrayed spouse has to navigate through for somewhere between 12 and 24 months because you haven't been able to diffuse the struggles that are going on in your own heart. I came to realize when Samantha would have difficulty in her recovery, I would then be impatient, defensive, angry, because I hadn't worked through my own forgiveness of her. And so when she would get upset, there was this constant reverberation inside of me of, well, you did this and you did that and you weren't this and you weren't that, and is it any shock that I cheated? And all these different conflicts that were going on inside of me. And nobody really tapped into that until it was further down the road. But I want to try and help you, unfaithful spouse, understand that you're going to have this moment. And it's not going to be with your betrayed spouse, I assure you. It's going to be with someone like me, your accountability group, a great friend, someone that you trust, that you can be vulnerable with. But you're going to have to come to the point where you decide to utilize forgiveness in your own life, because there's three recoveries. There's the recovery of the unfaithful spouse, there's the recovery of the betrayed spouse, and then there's the potential recovery of the marriage. And so, unfaithful spouse, your job is to work your own recovery. You can't control whether or not the betrayed works their recovery, but you can only work on your recovery. And part of your recovery is forgiving your betrayed spouse for what happened in the marriage. Because if you can work through those issues, you're going to be far more tolerant, far more compassionate, far more peaceful, far more in control of your own emotions when things get difficult. There was a time where I experienced this, where Samantha and I were in this big fight, and it was an opportunity for us to do what many of you may experience, which is a back and forth, well, you this and well, you that, and it was chaos. But I had done some really good purging of some bitterness, and we got in this fight, and I noticed that my reactions were far more calm and far more peaceful, and I was able to focus on what Samantha needed rather than defending myself, because I had experienced a breakthrough by forgiving her. I had experienced a sense of healing because I had forgiven her for some things that I had been holding on to. So when she fired off some things at me, I was able to absorb them. I was able to entertain them, if you will. I was able to take them and say, well, I can see, and man, I understand. And I was far more in control of myself because I had done a huge work of forgiveness, and it set me free, which then helped me be able to be safer for Samantha. I want to throw out a disclaimer that's absolutely imperative, that if you as an unfaithful spouse take this approach that says, well, you know what, I have to forgive you for some things too, betrayed spouse, because you were blah, 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 blah. Get ready to duck, because I'm sure plates, furniture, things are going to be thrown at you. That's something that you cannot use against your betrayed spouse. It's something that you have to work through in your own heart. And I'll do another video blog about that. But there is this part of the unfaithful spouse's life where you have to work through things that you're not going to be able to process with your betrayed spouse because they are not ready. They are not in a place to hear these things. But you, unfaithful, have to be willing to forgive your spouse for things that they did or did not do that you have built up resentment towards, because if you can forgive them, it will bring peace to you. It may not bring peace to them, but forgiveness is for you, not them. Forgiveness is to help set yourself free from the bitterness and the resentment and the justifications that you've built up in your own life, which are causing a blockage to the recovery process. As you will forgive your betrayed spouse, you are setting yourself free. You are breaking free from so many things, whether it be resentment, bitterness, narcissism, self-absorption, self-righteousness. You are helping to bring yourself to a point of healthy clarity where you can begin to then not be so bitter, defensive, or self-righteous when you're dealing with your betrayed, who's having reminders and triggers and intrusive thoughts and anger and all the different things that they are experiencing in their own recovery. As an unfaithful spouse, it's your job to clean out your own heart. Nobody's going to do it for you. You have to do the cleaning. You have to do the purging. And as you purge out this unforgiveness, I promise you, it'll change the dynamic of your recovery.